Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? It's your girl V-Henny, man. You already know the vibes. Welcome to the Artistry, where we talk shit about music, entertainment, and the everyday struggles. And we have a dope special guest in the building, spiritual reader, spiritual healer, clairvoyant, and so much more. We got Miss King Jaded in the building, aka Spiritual Auntie.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. I've been waiting for this. I've been telling my following about this interview, and everybody's been so hyped. So I'm so glad to be here. So thank you for allowing this platform to,
Thank you. So you already know how I start off. So for those that your first time watching, you already know, subscribe, like, comment, show some love. Usually we do that toast. I want to say congratulations on all your success. Continue striving. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And we got some sake for today. Sake.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Just touched my soul.
I feel like it's been a while.
It has been.
For those that don't know, we had a little mini interview a while ago. I want to say about a year ago, and
Close
it was
to
more.
A year ago, yes.
It was more like a kickback. You know, it wasn't so formal. But I feel like today is a little bit more formal. Things are a little bit more
different,
more secure, more solid.
Ooh, I love. Okay, go ahead.
That's how I feel.
This is what she does when things are.
Alignments.
So basically we did have an interview before close to a year, yes, and we was talking about a few things, but it was also the beginning of your journey, so like you did have a few things to speak on, but it wasn't as detailed as it will be today, because you're working, you're doing a lot, you know. I'm super proud of everything you've been accomplishing, you know. Giving back to like when I first met you to where you're at now, you know, when we was friends, and the whole idea of you wanting to even dive into spirituality, you know, at the beginning of it you were struggling with it. I think struggling with the fact of like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was struggling more of like the acceptance.
Hey, you hit it right on the head.
Okay, so, and I remember like, you know, speaking with you on that, because I can tell it was a struggle for you. So I know when it comes to entrepreneurship, or not even just entrepreneurship, when it comes to chasing a goal, a dream, you know, sometimes the first initial step is usually the hardest. So watching you struggle with being accepted, with who you are, I think you was even struggling with accepting yourself, you know. So how did you overcome that?
That was definitely one of the biggest struggles I did have going into this realm, because I speak about this a lot with my following and everything. But, you know, when it comes to the spiritual realm, it's either my encounter anyway. This is my personal experience, and it's subjective to everybody. But for me, I just felt like either people were super, super educated, and they were exactly where I wanted to be as far as mentor, as far as their work, as far as how beautifully gifted they were, or people were just giving misinformation. So my struggle wasn't that this was for me. It was just like, am I giving the right information? Am I doing the right thing?
Gotcha.
And I feel like during that process of me trying to figure it out, you know, of course, I had you pushing me, and I had a couple other people pushing me. And I also had people telling me, you know, just work a 9 to 5, you'll be all right. Continue with your side hustle. Just continue having it as a side hustle. And I had her in my ear, like, you know, no, like, you need to do this. You need to focus on it. So I just feel like there was so much growth, but I needed to go through that phase of just not knowing for me to really feel confident in what it is that I do. because I forced myself to get out of my comfort zone, and I forced myself to do the research because I wanted to be prepared and because I wanted to know exactly what it is that I was speaking about. That now, just embracing everything, I feel like I'm in such a different place. Like, I'm just picturing the interview that we had previously, and I'm like, wow, how different. What in a different place, like what a year can do to a person when you really want it, you know?
Absolutely. I want to know, like, when you put yourself in that place where, when you spoke to yourself and you told yourself, okay, Jade, you need to step out of your comfort zone. You know, when did it hit you? When did the realization hit you, when, with the whole, I need to not allow those who are not pursuing their goals and just telling you stick with the 9 to 5, and just not listen to them and listen to your spirit, you know? When did it hit you, when you've realized I'm confident within myself, within my work?
That is a very good question. So I am a big believer in manifestation, right? So I feel like all of us, we are exactly where we are at because of all the decisions we made, and that's besides manifestation. That is just the truth of things. And I just feel like for me, I like to visualize everything. I've always been that kind of person, and I started to find myself having more anxiety attacks about having to go back to work than actually maintaining what it is that I'm doing with, you know, the tower readings, with building my brand and stuff like that. I found myself in such an unhappy place because I kept telling myself maybe I should get a job. And I remember that one day I was having such a bad, you know, anxiety attack. It happens. We're all human beings. And that's another thing that I love to showcase, is just the humanity behind it. Because I feel like when people look up to spiritual healers like me and like others, you know, that do the same thing as I do, they don't think that they go through things. They think, oh, they're spiritual. They know how to deal with it. They have a spell for that. They have this for that. And in reality, we suffer even more than you think, you know? So I just remember I was having such a hard time, and there was no one who can soothe me. There was no one that can tell me anything. There was no one that can calm myself down other than me. And I just remember doing some shadow work, like really thinking about why is it I'm having this panic attack. And it was just the fact that I was rushing my process as far as, you know, the spiritual journey and my brand and how I wanted to go about things. Instead of patiently planning everything and being very strategic, I just wanted it to happen overnight.
Yeah.
You know? And it was just like, I wanted it to happen overnight, not for the money and not for like the recognition. It was more for the fact of like, okay, now I feel comfortable and I don't have to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I kind of had it, I had to go through this process and this journey, basically. Like, I just had to tell the universe I let go of the control. And once I let go,
not easy.
Once I let go, you know, I was like, whatever happens, happens. My angels, my ancestors, the universe got me. I know they do. They've been sending me signs since I was a kid. Like, I know this is for me. I have no excuse. I have no excuse. I only have one life. If it fails, it fails. But I haven't failed yet, you know? As far as how I imagined it to be, because I always imagined my failures to be like a catastrophe.
I mean, but it's okay to fail. I learned that the hard way.
No, absolutely. And I think, and that's all about embracing the journey.
Absolutely. You have to trust that. Embracing the journey, trust the process, respect the process, you know? So I get it. You know what's dope about it is the fact that, you know, she's young, but she has such an old soul. You have an old soul.
I do.
It's funny because like I tell people, I'm like, I'm the kid and she's the she's the adult in a sense, right? But you know, seeing the fact that you took initiative of the idea you had, you know. You took a grip of the narrative and you made it into where you're at now, which is dope because a lot of people are fearful with taking that step. And it's all like, again, it goes back to the fear of the unknown, you know? And the fact that you did all that, looking at you, I know I've seen you also post in the past. I haven't seen. I'm not sure if you how. I know you're active on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, but I know before in the past you spoke on depression. So, like you mentioned, like a lot of people look at you. You're a spiritual healer, clairvoyant. You know, just in that realm, and they automatically assume like, yo, kumbaya, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You understand? Like,
Definitely.
and then it's not like that. So, you know, I definitely want to touch a little bit on the whole overcoming depression, you know, and that journey, because again, like you mentioned, it's you faced a lot. I mean, you're still facing, but you've done a lot of shadow work. So when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to that realm and dealing with depression, like, how do you go about that? How can you explain to someone like who's dealing with something similar and they don't know how to overcome it? They feel lost, stuck.
So I am very active on TikTok. I'm also active on Instagram, but it's more business. I feel like on TikTok I do get personal and I do know everyone that's following me, you know, and I go live a lot over there, and I always tell them about all the things that I go through, because my comments on my videos and stuff like that is just in a way idolizing me and admiring me, and it's just like, as beautiful as that is, I like to remind people the human aspect of me, that as much as I do have all this knowledge and wisdom, it doesn't negate the human experience, you know? I feel like people think that once you're spiritual, you're one with God. And as much as that is true, you're still a human being. So things still happen. So one thing that I always tell them is that one thing that brings me apart from everyone else on TikTok first is that I am very honest and I am very real. And I feel like that has a lot to do with the fact that I am honest about my depression. I am honest about my anxiety. I am honest about their readings. If you're doing something wrong and in the cards it shows, I will tell you. I'm not going to candy coat it. I'll tell you, you have work to do and you're your problem. You're your worst enemy. And that goes the same for me. So I feel like when it comes to depression and overcoming that, I always say the only person that can save you is you.
Absolutely.
You cannot depend on anybody else to get you out of this. It is nobody's fault that you're in this. It's you. And this is the universe trying to show you it's time to elevate. It's not the universe trying to beat you down. It's happening for you, not to you. And I say that all the time, and it helps so many people because immediately it shifts your perspective. Because the first thing people say when they're down is, the universe, the world, everything is happening to me. It's kicking me down, and then as soon as you exactly,
yeah.
So as soon as you say like, well, this is happening for you, not to you, it's like, wow, like I didn't even think about it like that, because we get so stuck in our own perspective and so stuck in our own feelings, not realizing all the blessings that are happening around us. It's all about staying grounded.
Have you always been like this, even as a child?
What do you mean?
Like, so you have an optimistic mindset. You know, a person such as myself who had a very hard upbringing, right? Let's say, hypothetically, if I didn't put the work in, and if I would have continued having that mindset of a pessimist, right? And how can one, look at the beauty to what you have when you're stuck on all these negative like just aspects in your life happening back to back to back? Let's just say so how can one stay positive with that mindset?
I mean, it's definitely a difficult one, and that is something that I bring up all the time. It's all about understanding the reality of things, because again, I feel like a lot of spiritual healers, not saying all, I'm speaking more for spiritual healers on TikTok, okay? They try to, candy coat things. They try to make spirituality look like it's all about crystals and cleansing and candles and this beautiful thing, and they're not really educating everyone, they're, you know, and these are big people. These are bigger people than me, because I only have 8,000. These are people that have like maybe 1 million or, you know, 100K. So it's like their videos get millions of views and stuff like that. And they're telling people, you know, all you have to do is this love spell and you'll be fine. Or you have to do is a day of self-care and the rest of your days will be okay. And as much as that can be true.
Are you saying they're not authentic?
They're not being authentic. No, they're not. They're not being authentic. I feel like they are giving this illusion that spirituality is the stamp to fix it. And as much as that can be the case, they're not saying it's you that has to put in the work. They're
Which
saying,
is true.
they're saying, you know, like you can manipulate whatever energies, and as long as you do your yoga and your meditation in the morning, you should be fine. And the reality is, meditation is one of the hardest things to really sit down and do.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
it's really hard for me to meditate.
So I always,
there's so much going on here,
and that's okay, and that's why I love being on TikTok.
You know how many times she tried to make me meditate, and I'm just like, psst.
All the time. All the time.
What are you doing? Definitely. I'm sorry, continue.
No, it's true. That's the reality of things, because again, we're human beings. So when it comes to people saying, oh, they can't be, there's no positivity in their life to even look forward to tomorrow. I'm going to be honest with them, and I'm going to tell them, well, why is that? What are the decisions that you're making that is keeping you in this cycle? Why are you doing the same things and expecting a different outcome? You know, it's all about shifting. It's all about understanding it's going to be a little uncomfortable for a couple months or even for a year. But as long as you're consistently trying to work for a better tomorrow, things will get better.
So what were some of the uncomfortable shifts you made?
There was definitely a lot. Because I feel like when I decided to take on this full time, there was just a lot going on in my personal life. There was a lot going on just in general. There was a lot of major changes happening. I remember even sharing this with you, that I felt like everything was being stripped away from me. Everything I felt secure with, everything I felt comfortable with, everything I knew as my identity was being stripped away from me.
Okay.
You know, not realizing that's exactly what I was asking for. And that's another thing I say, be careful what you wish for. You want the spiritual awakening, you want the elevation, you want the success, you want this generational wealth, but at the same time you're negating your elevations by staying in the same cycle. So I just remember, you know, going through this really tough time, and it was just me fighting this transformation, because I could have just simply started to get to work and do things, but it was me, you know, being comfortable with the fact that I was struggling with mental illness, and at some points I was using it as like an excuse not to do more, you know, like
an scapegoat, like
scapegoat, definitely, you know, because we get comfortable, and because everything I felt, my world, where I was living, who I was with, my friends, my job, literally everything, my family, I lost so many family members like that I had to cut off, so there was just so many things happening that my anxiety and my depression was the only thing that was familiar to me. It was the only thing that was comforting to me, because I knew it was going to happen. It was like this dependent variable when everything else was independent. You know what I mean? Everything else was changing. This was the only thing I knew would never go away. And that was part of the problem. And that was part of the shadow work, which is why I still suffer with it now, but now I know how to cope. You know, now I understand, okay, I need to self-soothe. I need to learn how to have a better inner dialogue. When I feel the thoughts coming, I shut it down immediately. Okay. I distract myself, you know. I do things that feel good. Okay. I don't continue and put on sad music. I don't go ahead and get in this mode of, oh, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm going to dissociate. You know, and there's times that it does happen, but I try to fight it. I'm no longer giving into it.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely brought me like very, very far, I think. You know, there was a lot of arguments with myself. It was a lot of frustration with myself. It was a lot of wanting to quit and let things go, because that was the easy way out, right? Because we always want to quit when it gets too hard.
Oh my God, I know. What's a challenge? Speaking of that, like, what's a challenge you would say you're most proud of that you overcame and you applied to your present self now?
That is an amazing question. I think you stumped me there. I gotta think on that. What is a challenge that was hard to overcome?
It was just you overcame.
I think that
and you're most proud of.
I think trusting myself was the hardest thing to overcome. Trusting my intuition, trusting my purpose, trusting my abilities and my gifts, growing that confidence within myself, just truly embracing everything that I am without taking away from myself. I think was because I am very critical of myself, and I was constantly tearing myself down, and I just had to tell myself, if I continue every day to tear myself down, there's no way I can see a better, a brighter future for myself, because I'm always going to take away. Even today, having to write out everything that I do. I was telling my following, having to write out everything that I do on a daily basis. Like, we get so stuck in the routine, and like, because I love what I do and it's my passion, I got so stuck in just the routine and getting things done that I was like, wow, I spent like, I think an hour just writing a few questions, like getting detailed and everything. I was like, wow, I actually do a lot, and I'm able to appreciate that now. But I feel like back then I would have still found things to nitpick at, because I was insecure and I didn't have the confidence, So I just feel like there was a lot of inner workings that I needed to work on, and you can definitely see it.
No, you can. Compared to like when you first started, and it's right, it's funny, right? Because behind the scenes, I was mentioning to her, like, it's because I know obviously a lot, and I've been there through the process of it. I didn't want to get so personal, but then I'm just like, no, you got to be you. But look into like when you first started to where you're at, the confidence definitely started building, and that was the beauty of it. Because I remember when she wanted to go back to work, and I remember her telling me specifically, like, I can get my old job back, etc. And the money, like, I need to make money because whatever. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, like what? Like, no. I'm not one to stop anyone to pursue whatever goals you have or whatever it is you want to accomplish. But I know how much you wanted this, but I saw how scared. And again, you didn't have the confidence. Now, from that to coming back here to your present self, where you're just like, okay, I need to execute this, her task, you do so much to improve. And I see it, and I think that's beauty to it. And people don't realize the power. I tell a lot of people this. This is one of my, this is a personal quote that I'm constantly saying. Like, passion is power. Without passion, the drive to what you want to do, where you want to go, it's like limited, should I say, when you don't have that passion. And just watching you being so passionate within yourself, within your brand. Let's dive into how even your Oracle shop.
Oh yeah.
I remember when you just had like one item.
Definitely.
And it's like watching you. It's like I'm watching you grow. You planted the seed last year, and now we have this beautiful sunflower.
Definitely. I love sunflowers. But definitely, the Oracle shop is definitely still expanding,
I see. Like, first of all, so explain to those, like, what exactly is this right here?
So what she's holding is protection oil. And so everything, before I get into that, everything from the Oracle shop, basically everything, because not everything I can make by hand. For example, like crystals or you know, like the Palo Santo. I can't make that myself. That comes from something outside of me. But everything else is made by my hands, literally, and I take so much pride in that. And I, no matter how much recognition I can get, I still want it to be that way, and I still want to figure out how to do this myself. You know, I take so much pride that I do everything with unconditional love and light, you know, and there's so much meaning and intention, and every single client I've had so far feels it, even in just the packaging. Like, even when they just open their package, they feel it.
No, you do. You do. This is why I'm constantly harassing her for my oils,
which I still have to make.
She hasn't made it. I'm still waiting.
I already made her how many oils? Like, okay.
She's made me so many oils. I suffer from like rosacea, and like eczema and stuff like that. And so she makes an oil for me. And I finished like for like, it's been over a month, right? Yeah, like almost a year. And
anyways,
and I'm waiting, and I'm just like, I knock on her door. I go to her office, and I'm like,
yeah, she does. She does. Every time she gets out the shower, she lets me know, like, did you make my oil? Like, I need my oil.
Hey, give me your website. I'll place an order.
She definitely does tell me that. But as far as the oil that is presented here, that's protection oil, and I make it specifically for empaths and for people that need to protect their energy from energy vampires, from people.
So wait, interesting.
What?
So what? Do you just apply it?
Yeah. So, okay.
Because I just found out that I am an empath.
Of course you are.
I know that, but I know I'm spiritual, and I know a lot of things, that I know my gifts. But the empath is something that I've recently accepted.
Right.
So for a person from my, like, such as myself, that recently accepted that, how do I apply to that? So like, what am I expecting?
You would be actually a perfect candidate for this. Okay. Because you intake a lot of energies on a daily basis, whether it's electronically, through the phone, on Instagram. There's a lot of energies that you're intertwining with, and just, you know, you're an overall empath. So there's people, even family, reaching out to you, me, the fact that I have my office upstairs. So there's a lot of energy going on, and because you feel it so deeply, a lot of empaths don't know they're empaths just because they take that energy and that emotion as their own.
Yes.
You know, and then they don't understand why they're feeling so angry and so frustrated, and why they're always in this bad mood. And it's because they're allowing everybody to basically dump onto them, you know, their problems, you know, with love and light, of course, but they allow everybody to just, you know, tell them how they feel, and we always take and take and take and take until we have nothing left, right? So for you, you're always on the phone giving people your energy, your love and light. You're always guiding people. You're always helping artists. You're always helping, you know? So you're constantly giving away your energy. So this would really help you just stay replenished, you know? It will protect your energy from also malicious intent. And I always tell people, when you use this oil, be careful what you're asking for, because this will literally protect you from negative energies, people that don't have the greatest intentions for you.
So what, you just apply it like on the palm of your hand?
So you can,
like anywhere?
So I usually say, if let's say you take a shower in the morning before you start your day, you can apply, literally, it doesn't take a lot. You just need one drop, and you can rub it, really get the essential oils going, and you'll smell it once it is activated. And you should put it on your wrist, you put it on your temples, on the back of your neck, and in your inner ankles, right? Just to protect overall everything. And it's just one drop, and you should be good. And you can also use it for a space, because it is natural. You would just have to put maybe like 3-4 drops, depending on how big the spray bottle is. Put it in a spray bottle with some water, shake it up, and you can protect your home with this as well. And a lot of people actually really, really love, that's one of like the favorites, is the protection oil. A lot of people request it.
How you go about dealing with people who are the non-believers, basically? You know, the whole, I don't believe in this whole jumble, or they even look at it like, no, she's schizo. She's you know, like.
That's definitely a good question, you know, because for those that don't believe, it's hard to believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've actually had a couple people that came to me because I have a very good word of mouth, and because a lot of people do recommend me. That's how, I have most of my clients. It's just through recommendations, which I am so grateful for and thankful for, because that is honestly the best. I'd rather you hear of me through someone rather than just seeing me online, you know? So I have a lot of people that are just like, no, just try her. Like, just get one reading. Like, I have so many people that will pay for their friend's reading just so that they can see and have the experience with me. And 100% they come right back. And they always tell me, because of you and because of how you read me and because of how detailed and because of how accurate, and just you told me things that nobody else knew about me, I knew that you were the real deal. And that's why I strive to have a review section. I strive to just have that authenticity with everything, because at the end of the day, I'm still a human being, like, it's not like I'm feeding my ego by saying that, but I just take pride in my work, because I always say it's not me, it's spirit. I always tell people it is not me, it's spirit. I just learned how to break that language barrier between me and the spiritual realm. Now I know how to decipher it, and now I can help you and serve you.
Gotcha. Interesting. What about, like, because I know, all right, so we already know the power of the internet, right?
Definitely.
And we know how critical the internet can be. We both know this because we're both content creators, So, first of all, how did you react to your first negative comment? Did it affect you? Did you just brush it off? Like,
so one thing that I will say is, I've never had a negative comment to me.
Okay, but what about towards your work?
I've never
with religion, nothing with.
No, that's what I was gonna say. So it's never been a negative comment towards me personally or the work that I do. It was more of the fact that I was a Jesus hater, or like I was gonna be condemned to hell because of whatever. It's more so comments like that. Oh, the witchcraft. Oh, remove the witch of the. So it's just trolling, like, comments like that. And I actually, the first time I saw that, like, it kind of took me by surprise, because my following, as you know, is so sweet. Like, I make sure to build, like, this sweet community where we're sweet to one another. Like, literally on the live, people say hi to each other, because they're starting to recognize familiar faces. Like, oh, this was the girl that was talking about this. Hi, Bridget. Hi, this. Hi. So they say hi to each other. So it's such a loving community. So when I do get that one or two comments that is like, oh, you're going to get condemned to hell, all of you. And it's not just one comment. Like, they want to be seen,
Yeah.
So at first, I was just like, oh my God. Like, I was taken back a little bit. I was like, but I love God. Like, I try to do right every day. But then I saw, like, all the comments, and I saw how upset my following got, and they started to, like, attack. Like, don't say that, whatever, get off the live. And I just had to, like, stop everything, and I had to be like, listen, everybody can have a difference of opinion. It's okay. But we're not going to go on and tell people what to believe and what not to believe, and thank God that on my live, because that's usually where I get the negative comments, is on my lives, not really on my videos, because thank God with the algorithm on TikTok, I only attract what people like. So it's hard for me to get on the other side of TikTok. But for my lives and stuff with the negative comments, thankfully I can just block them and keep it going. But I actually had a couple encounters with some people, with some religious people who are disguising themselves as religious people, but they're not really being, the greatest of people. It's not the religion itself. It's not that they're following the religion. I just want to say that. But I've had my life taken away from me. I've had my TikTok suspended because I am a witch, and I'm going to be condemned. Yeah. So in that aspect, I was really down about it. But I'm like, what can I do? It's only going to get worse the more exposure I get, and I'm honestly, I'm like waiting for it in a way. I'm not really expecting it, but I know it's going to happen regardless. So
no, I mean, I told you in person, I told you recently that you remind me, you're like the next female Walter Mercado.
Oh my gosh.
And listen, as a Latina, that's super big.
That is a big deal.
And that is a super big deal. You know, as a person also who has a spiritual background, you know, it's, you know, it's in our blood. It's in, you know, watching, you know, like watching you and like your gifts. I always knew you had the gift, you know. It was just about you and, you know, growing within who you know, who you are destined to be. How did you take, because I feel like also when one of the biggest challenge for most would be like acceptance, like going back to how I was talking about like at the beginning of this, you know, but acceptance from your loved ones, your family. I know the one of the biggest things that we tend to do is that we assume right off the bat that our family and our loved ones are our first support system. And then, you know, we come to realize that I'm not saying all, I am not saying all, but most are not even supportive. Did you dealt with a situation like that where you didn't have the support system within your family or within your loved ones, including your, you know, your fiance, which by the way I heard she's awesome.
She is awesome. She's amazing.
But yeah, but like, did you had to deal with the whole situation with like where you felt as if you didn't have the support, you had to be your own support system?
So I definitely did struggle when it came to having my support system. I would say not that I didn't have support, because I definitely did. It was just not as much as I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
And there was certain energies that I truly would have, you know, really, it would have meant the world to me to have them back me up, you know, and to just be there, you know, and that's including my parents even, you know, and my parents support me 100%. They always have, but it's kind of this thing where it's like, people can only assume what you want from life, and they try to guide you off of that assumption. So it may sound like they're not being supportive, but they're only trying to support you in the way they think in which you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, if my parents are constantly hearing me, or my family and my friends are constantly hearing me like, oh, I don't know if this is, maybe I'll get a job, they're going to be like, why don't you get a job? And then we internalize that, and it's like, wow, you're not going to support me? Like, you're not. So it's more, I feel like I learned that at the end of the day, I can only make myself happy.
Okay.
And regardless of the support, whoever will support me, and who doesn't, it's okay. It's fine. I have no hatred against you, no ill will or malicious intent. I just know that if you're coming with me, you're coming with me, and if not, it's cool. You can stay over there. You know, I'll say hi to you and whatever, but it's cool. Like, I'm not taking it personal at this point, because I just feel like I have so much love from my beautiful, amazing fiance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have so much support from you. I have support from my parents now, like, because at first they were like, oh, get a job, like, just get a job, like, you know, I had to like
get a job, go to school,
do these, yeah, and I was just like, but it doesn't feel right, like, it doesn't align with me. It's not, I don't feel like that's what I need to be doing. So I just had to really stop listening, honestly. I just had to turn it off, and regardless of what support it was not getting, I had to just not focus in on that, because we get so lost in it and we allow it to hinder our growth and our elevation. So I just had to be like, you know what? I'm turning it off, because I'm not even supporting myself at this point. So let me support myself, and then we can move forward.
I mean, it's you have to, right? I always tell people, like, how you expect me to support you, support your goals, support who you are, when you don't even believe in yourself, you know? So it's like, how you expect me to buy your product when you don't even know if you believe in your product, you know?
Absolutely. And I feel like that all comes within the process, and understanding who you are, what you are, and why you're doing the things that you're doing. And it's a process, and that's the key. You're not going to know all at once. It's going to be an uphill battle. You'll win some and you'll lose some. There are days that you're not going to want to do anything at all. And there's times where you're going to feel so energetic and so passionate, and you're going to feel like this is it. You know, you're going to get the goosebumps and the signs. And then there's times that the signs go dead and it's up to you to continue pushing. But it's all about the journey, I feel like. And I'm just glad that I trusted my process. And I'm still trusting my process because I still have a long way to go. You know, I still feel like as much as I am confident where I'm at right now, I still allow so much room for growth and for, you know, whatever the universe wants to give me at this point. Like, I'm just going with the flow of things. I always get questions about, like you said, like Oracle Shop and the things that I'm adding. Are you adding this? Are you adding that? And if I hear a couple products being mentioned, I'm like, okay, I know the universe is trying to tell me it's time for me to add this and that. I don't just add things just to add things. I add them because it's being requested, you know?
Okay.
So I add that to my life as well. With everything, with my growth, when it comes to if I start seeing things like, you know, anything to do with what it is that I'm doing, even if it's in my personal life, I'm like, all right, I need to start learning how to do this. I need to start researching how to do that. I need to stop allowing this to happen in my life. Like, you know, I found the formula, honestly, of how to navigate myself because I know myself at this point.
Okay.
You know, so I feel so much more confident with my decisions because I know I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be here.
Okay. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
When did you officially start your journey?
As far as like the Oracle Shop and everything, or
Yes.
just spirituality as a whole?
Spirituality.
So I always say, as far as spirituality, it's been an ongoing thing. Even like since I was born, honestly, I've been dealing with paranormal experiences, and there's been so many things that has happened to me. And I was reading people without even understanding that I was reading people at like the age of 10 and stuff like that. And my dad knew right away that I was clairvoyant, and he did have that conversation with me. But when I really dived deep into this spiritual realm, I would say I was about 18, 19 when I really dived deep. And then I was still fighting it though. I was still fighting it, and I was still trying to question whether this is what I wanted to do full time. I also had my photography. Because I'm a person with multiple hats. I'm just a creative being overall. So I love to paint. I love to do anything creative, and I'm good at it. You know, I'm good at anything creative, designing. So I could literally, the road was literally open for me, and I could choose whatever. But there was just something about spirituality that I just really resonated with.
Okay.
It just gave me a different feeling, a different accomplishment. It felt better to help someone else. You know, it just felt like, okay, I did my job for the day. I helped someone, even if it was just one person. So I would say my journey officially started when I stopped making excuses for myself. And I was like, I'm going to create my website and my brand. And that was last year officially when I stopped doing it as a side hustle, because that's what I was doing. I had it as a side hustle for so long because that was like my excuse. Oh, but I'm doing it. I'm working, you know, but I wasn't putting it out there. And you would always tell me like, oh, put yourself out there. But I was like, well, I am. Like, I am on side. You were like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. But now, outside looking in, I can definitely understand where you're coming from. So I would say last year when I decided to really invest, not just financially, but emotionally and physically in my brand is where I was like, okay, I'm in this. I'm all in. I'm putting the seatbelt, like whatever happens, you know?
It's been so a year you're taking it fully seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been in a situation where you felt as if you wanted to give it all up?
I mean, of course.
So give us an example of a time where you felt as if, you know, this is something, and I'm talking about like while you taking this seriously, where you felt as if, you know what, I can't do this.
Definitely.
How did you overcome that?
It was hard because, again, it's not that I overcame it. I just had to wait it out. You know, it's just one of those things where it's like I can quit, but that won't solve my problem. You know, So I just really had to just be like, you know what, I can bitch and I can complain and I can cry and I can kick and scream, and I know my ancestors were tight at me, so I was giving them their offerings and whatever, but they were upset with me because I was getting upset with myself, and they were just like, can you just wait? Like, can you just wait? You know, can you be patient? And I would, you know, there was a point where I had such an influx of like support and just orders, and then it was like, I think a month of just nothing, no orders. I wasn't getting any even though I was posting every day. I was doing everything by the book, you know. I was posting every day, and I was putting the hashtags, and I was doing it on my story, adding the location, interacting with everybody on, liking, commenting, all that stuff, putting it on Facebook, you know, doing the telling, you know, sending it to everybody so they can like, and I was not getting anything. And it felt the harder I tried, the less it came to me. Because I guess it just wasn't authentic. It was more like, I want it. I was trying too hard. Absolutely. So I felt like as soon as I just sat back and I realized I'm trying to control the situation again, I was like, I can't control it. You know, this is life. Like, I can't control what happens. There will be times that I won't get as much orders as I usually, you know, there's good months and there's bad months, and it's okay.
And that's okay, yeah.
It's absolutely okay. You need a balance. It can't always be good, because then you can't appreciate what's happening in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I just remember having this month, I think like a month and a half of just like nothing, you know, just no orders, nothing. I was getting people who were interested, but they weren't purchasing and whatever. So I was just like, wow, like I wanted to give up. And I was just like, this is not for me, like whatever. But I was like, you know what? No, like maybe I need to try a different app. And that's when I opened TikTok. And that's when you saw me starting to do little TikTok videos. And I think the first video I posted, I had about like 500 views and like maybe 100 likes. And I was like, wow. And I only had like 3 or 4 followers. So I was like, okay, this is odd. And I remember telling you and getting excited, and you were like, okay, so continue with it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Again, making excuses for myself. So it was definitely a journey and a process. And I was using TikTok for a little bit just to try to see what was my angle, you know, my niche. And I was just trying to see. And then I started to actually use TikTok, you know, as entertainment and stuff like that. And because I am into spirituality, I got to see the spiritual side to things. And I started noticing you can actually grow on here. Like, this is an actual platform that you can grow. And mind you, I'm not getting no orders. And she would get upset with me, you know, like, all you do is on TikTok and that's all you do and whatever. But like, I was really trying to analyze everything. And I was like, okay, maybe I was strategizing everything. And I was like, you know, maybe if I do this. So I had like, my content was all over the place because again, I was trying. And then my videos went from getting like 500 views to like 10 views. 2 views, and I was like, that's it, I give up. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. It is what it is. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I just stopped uploading, and I was using TikTok, but I just stopped uploading. And I remember you had an interview that day. I was helping you and whatever, and you know, we had a good time, and I had messages from Spirit. So I remember I went upstairs and I was like, I don't know why I want to go on TikTok. I was like, TikTok doesn't work for me anyways, but whatever, I'm gonna go on TikTok anyways. And I posted a video talking about the messages from Spirit, and I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day with over 100 notifications from this video, a video that I didn't even want to do. I was just doing it. I was feeling nice, you know, and I had messages. I didn't think nobody was going to see it, and I had more than 100 views. I had hundreds of followers, you know, and ever since then, my page has been growing. And it's been like this ever since, and I just realized that everything has its own divine timing. Yes. You cannot rush your process. No matter how much you manifest, no matter how much you try to rush it, no matter how much you want it, you cannot rush your process because we have things and challenges and obstacles we need to grow through before we can accept our abundance and our success and our blessings and stuff like that. So I just feel like this was a big eye-opening for me because I was so focused on just the money aspect. I never saw myself as a content creator, you know? And it's just like I was closing doors before they can open. Yeah. So I just feel like it was all about just, again, me letting go of the control, me just feeling it within myself and then doing it. Not doing it because logically it makes sense, because I felt it. I used my intuition, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. You know, I'm just gonna post a video, and we'll see. You know, I don't care if it gets 1 view or whatever. And it's literally those videos that get the most views. So it's crazy.
TikTok is definitely an interesting platform.
It is, and when people hear me, they're like, "You're on TikTok." Like they think I'm dancing, or they think...
it's funny. Every time I speak to people and I tell them about your TikTok, they're like, "What is she doing, dancing?" And I'm just like, "No, actually." So when I tell people what exactly you do, that's when they're just like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, like she's doing her thing there, you know." And to you know, it's. I'm glad that you didn't. I'm happy that you never gave up on yourself. It would have been one of the saddest things to see is wasted talent, you know, and to see that you know you're pursuing this, and it's only the beginning.
Absolutely,
it's only the beginning, and you're constantly challenging yourself. You're constantly stepping out the box. You're constantly growing. So when was the last time you did something for the first time?
Wow.
I gotta give you my infamous question.
I got the question.
Yeah, I gotta give you my question.
When was the last time I did something for the first time? I gotta think about that. Give me a second. I want to give you a good answer. When was the last time I did something for the first time?
I felt like it was only right because she's constantly stepping out the box. She's constantly challenging herself, doing new things, correct?
So absolutely. I just feel like when it comes to just me and my relationship, I always feel like we're doing new things. So I'm trying to find one specific thing that I did for the first time that I haven't done in a while.
Not in a while. First time.
No, I know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. You stumped me there. I had answers for everything. I was like, let's go. I'm prepared. I'm like, no, fine. I need to get you an answer. No,
it's fine. It's fine. So think about it. Then we get back to that. She's determined.
I am absolutely determined. I mean, the only thing that I can really think of is just, it's more so emotional than anything else.
Okay.
You know, it's not really like an endeavor or anything, you know?
Okay, that's fine.
And I just feel like for me, like for the first time ever, I am emotionally content. Okay? Like I just feel like I'm okay with everything that's going on with myself, with my relationship. Like this is the first time ever that I've had so many good things happening for me. And I feel like I fought it at first, but I feel like recently, a couple things had happened where I was just like, okay, I need to shift myself a little bit emotionally because I have a lot of good going on, So for the first time, I said no.
Okay.
I gotta step out of my perspective. No, like I can't always be right. No, I can't always have it the way I envisioned it. I gotta, again, let go of that control. So emotionally, I feel like for the first time, I actually let go of the control. And I'm just like, with my relationship, with just everything, I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. And I'm just going to be within my authentic self. And that even goes for like you and me, and our relationship and stuff like that. I just feel like we try to control so many of our emotions. We try to make sure we suppress it and whatever. And I feel like, and this was recently, and when I say recently, I mean like very, very recently, where I just was like, I'm no longer going to suppress my emotions.
Interesting. Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's always good to step out the box and do, new things.
It's a journey.
It is a journey. So for those that don't know what's the actual meaning of what it is to be clairvoyant, can you explain very little?
Definitely. So, I feel like clairvoyant, like there's so many things that entail it, but just a quick little summary is just basically I am able to hear and see and feel just the other side, like your past loved ones, angels, your ancestors, your spirits. I have communication to that. I literally am able, I'm the bridge between heaven and earth, and I'm just the messenger. You know, I can relay the messages and I can give it to the humans, I can give it to you, and I can let you know this is what's going on. So that is my gift. It could also be called psychic. I just don't like the word psychic. A lot of us spiritual healers don't really like the word psychic, because when you think of psychic, you think of like a boardwalk where they're like palm readings and stuff like that, and where they don't have the best of reputations and stuff like that. And not all psychics are like that, not at all, but it's just the negative connotation that comes along with it. But it can be also, you know, a synonym can be like a psychic or whatever. Clairvoyant is just a knowing of future events, you know, premonitions and stuff like that.
Can you always alter your future, or was meant to be?
Basically.
But what about with card readings, like being a tarot reader, right? You know, it's a guide. So can you alter it?
Absolutely.
So then how is it that if something's meant to be or is destined for you, how is it that if something's if it's within destiny, how is it that you can alter it?
Because you can alter the process, not where you're going, if that makes sense. So so I can either help you go the easy way, you know, up this journey from going to point A to point B, or you can go the hard way and you may never make it to where you got to go. You know, everything has its own divine timing, but you may not make it there. It's destined for you, and you may have to do it again in the past life, and again in the next life, and again in the next life, and you'll continue doing this until you get where you need to go. But my job is just to guide you in the best way possible, in the greatest of good. So if I can say, listen, don't go left because you're going to have a lot of issues that way, you might as well go right because you have a better outcome of learning about who you are and your journey and all that stuff. Obviously, you're going to want to go right. And that is what I can do. You know, I can see what is the better option for you. But again, it's up to you to take it. All because I'm telling you, you can go left or right, it doesn't mean that you're going to go left or right. You might just go back and revert to your old self and your old ways. And you might go left, you know, and you're going to see it for yourself and you're going to feel it for yourself. Again, when you're coming to me for readings, your future is ever changing. You know, there are variables, and then there's things that are constant. You know, and that pain that you're trying to run away from is constant. There's certain things that you have to go through, you know, in order to get to where you need to go. And pain is one of them. Trauma is another one. Triggers are another, you know. So there's a lot of things that as much as I can help you, you have to do the work.
How you feel about, it's funny, right? Like, I'm just listening to you, and then I also thought about when, you know, like, knowing the fact that you are a tarot reader, right? What are the first questions they ask you?
Of course. Can you read me?
Yeah.
What does my aura say? Like, what are you getting off of me? Are my spirits mad at me? Am I do I have gifts? Because I felt this one thing like 10 years ago and I've been thinking about it ever since, you know? That's the part of that is something that I had to learn, that it just comes with it.
Naturally,
you know,
and for most.
You just have to learn how to communicate in the greatest of good. You have to communicate with unconditional love, because you have to understand, as much as we know that's not the right thing to go about it, they don't know. Because again, a lot of people don't know people like in person, or people that they can get personal with. So when they do see one, and they do see one that is doing it full time, and it's, you know, it's exciting. So the first question I always get is, oh, can you read me? And, you know, I have to tell them, like, listen, this is my I have to tell them this is my full-time job. And even on my lives, because when I do free readings, I have people that get a little bossy and are like, oh, but you skip me and whatever. And I'm like, okay, you guys need to understand that I'm doing this out of love, you know? I don't have to read you.
No, you don't, but...
So I have to tell them, like, it's like, that's as if your boss is telling you to go to your 9 to 5 and telling you you're not going to get paid, but go in with love and light and just work your full shift. You're not going to get paid, but just feel good because you're doing it. Who's going to go in? Exactly. So that's how I have to kind of bring it.
I'm like, where's my Uber?
Exactly. And I know for some people, they're like, oh, that's a little forward. But I'm like,
no, you have to.
It's not about being, again, I'm not being nasty or rude or anything like that. I'm just bringing awareness, and I'm bringing it in a situation where you can actually relate to.
Yeah.
And it's all about having, putting the authority, you know, having that authoritative energy where it's like, I can read you, but this is what you got to do first, you know? Mm-hmm. And, I've never gotten a negative response from that. If anything, I have people apologizing, and I'm like, no, don't apologize.
No, because it's like, like you have people who apologize because, again, they don't realize I feel like sometimes people don't realize the difference between a hobby and this is who you are. This is your job. People assume because you are not at an actual desk, I don't want to just or an actual location working for someone, they're assuming that you have free time and this is a hobby, and it's like, no. So this is where the respect comes in, the respect of you becoming an entrepreneur, because at the end of the day, you are an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You're working for yourself, you're making a living of everything you're doing, and it's hard for some people to grasp that idea,
Definitely.
And it's you have to put your foot down. So it's not that you I will say I appreciate you as your delivery, because I could be harsh.
Yeah.
And not that I'm a bitch or anything like that,
no,
but
it's out of love.
It is out of love. But you see, like, my world is absolutely different compared to yours.
Yeah, they'll eat you alive.
Yeah, and especially when they see a woman.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, where I come from, you have to have this whole firm, carry yourself well, and be well respected.
Yeah, you. Really
and I'm not saying you,
fight.
and I'm not saying that where you're at, like, your industry is, it's not like that. You have to have that respect. In order for people to respect you, you have to respect yourself. So you standing your ground into, like, this is what I do. Thank you for even, considering me. Mm-hmm. But, I need you to understand that this is what I do.
Absolutely.
When was the first, like, do you remember your first time doing that?
I do, actually. I do. I remember I was starting to go live a lot because I just hit, like, my first 1,000 on TikTok, and that's when you can actually go live. You can't just go live if you don't have a following. So, like, I went live and I started doing, readings like crazy. And I remember you were coming into my office, like, you've been here for 2 hours and whatever, and you're still reading people for free. And I'm like, yeah, but look at all the beautiful people and look at all the comments and whatever. And, like, by day 3, I had it. Like, day 3, I had it, because,
like, open your eyes, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Day 3, you was just like, no.
I had it because, again, like, people get really bossy, and they, without realizing it, it's one of these things where people don't realize what they're saying, because they would never say this to you in person. They would never come up to me and be like, hey, this is my situation and this is what I'm going through. I want to know in my relationship if it's going to work or not, and what. They wouldn't dump all of that onto you if it was in person, but they're doing it because I opened the door for that. So I just have to, the first time it happened where I was getting, oh, but you skipped me, and why does this person, and all the, and remember, like, for TikTok, it's not the same as Instagram where you can literally, I'm pretty sure you can, I'm not 100% sure, where you can actually scroll up if it's not so many comments to, like, the very first comment you had. For TikTok, like, I get over hundreds of comments. So after, like, I think, like, 200 to 300, I can't go back up. So I lose. And by the time I'm done reading one person, I already have 99 plus comments underneath. Yeah. So it refreshes, and I don't get to see people's names. So names get lost within the mix. And then people comment their names all the time, more than once. They spam, and, so.
You know what used to get me upset with Instagram?
What?
Oh my God! So I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. What I used to do.
Oh no.
With her Instagram, I'll see her reading on Instagram, and I hate when I would see, oh, so read my cousin.
Yeah.
Me, read my boyfriend. So and so, read. And I'm like, I'll text her like, you need to tell them to get on IG and they need to follow you and they need.
No, she really did, and she would send more than one text to make sure I saw it, and she would see my face on live.
Because
like,
but you know what? It would frustrate me because yes, people can be bossy, and they see that you're doing this. You know, you're doing this, and they're just like, okay, so now read my cousin. Okay, so now read my boyfriend. Read my friend's friend. My friend's cousin's cousin, sister's uncle, aunt / god sister. What? What? I was like, how about that you guys get on IG, get on the live, follow the girl, and let her have that relationship with them.
Yep.
Like build. But I used to see you were so nice with it at the beginning.
At the very begining, I was.
Because I think after like the 10th time, I was just like right next to her phone, like tell them to follow you.
So you know how I deal with the situations now? It's so simple, you know. I'll either say, you know, that little scenario that I just said right now, because people will also get upset if I'm doing collective readings instead of reading one by one. So I'll tell them, you know, that scenario where if it was your job and, you know, you wouldn't go in. Or for people that get upset, I'm like, well, there's a link in my bio where you can book a personal reading with me if you would like to get read and it's that serious. I would love to meet you and I would love to have a conversation with you. The link is in my bio. You can choose 30 minutes. You can choose an hour. If you got time, I got time.
Pow.
And that's all it takes.
Pow.
If they book, they book. And if not, they keep it pushing. And that's
Absolutely.
okay with me.
That's how it has to be, you know. So now, what are we expecting? What's next?
So much. I
know you're working on on a few podcasts. One actually that we have going on. The Better Half. You want to explain quick, like, you know, like briefly?
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, you guys, my TikTok following, you guys already know about this, but we've been talking about it already for about 2 weeks or so about creating it. And we just came up with an idea where it's like, how about we do something outside of the box, you know, and we discuss being an entrepreneur, building our brand and stuff like that, while also being in a committed relationship, because we ourselves, you know, are noticing how many obstacles we do face on a daily basis when it comes to time management, our schedules, just how her work looks like and how my work looks like. It's a lot of adjusting for the both of us. It's a lot of you know, just rewiring and stuff like that. So we thought it would be a very interesting conversation to have and just to help educate and just to have fun with it, honestly. So we have that going on, The Better Half, and we have that episode premiering Thursday, I believe.
I believe next week, yes.
Next week. So that is going to be awesome. I have so many people waiting for that. They're very excited. And then I also have another podcast with a business partner of mine that it's still in the works, but we are trying to figure out days and stuff like that. But I'm going to be basically the spiritual advocate for, you know, the face of the spiritual topics, you know, because this podcast has many, many different topics: health, success, financial things, whatever. And I'm on the spiritual topic of things. So anytime it's spiritual, any questions, I'm the face and I'm the one answering. And that's called the Self-Improve Lifestyle. So we're still working on that. I'm not sure when we're going to get that out, but hopefully very soon. And then I have something else coming out, which I'm so excited for and I cannot wait. And it's something that I'm doing on my own, which is just basically, should I tell them what it is?
Go ahead.
So it's called Tipsy Read. And basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be allowing about 10 people to purchase their ticket to drink some wine with me or water if you don't drink, but drink wine with me and to get their cards read. And then it won't just be one-on-one, it'll be a group of us. And if it's anything like it is on TikTok, I always have people like, I'm drinking this today, I'm drinking that. I have red wine in my cup because they know I love wine. So they're like, I'm drinking this and that. Oh, and so I have so many people excited for this. So I cannot wait to meet these people over Zoom and just, just talk and just have a good time and, drink wine and get their cards read and just have a overall amazing time. So I'm working on that as well. And I'm so excited for that. Like it's coming. I don't know when. I'm still working on like the logos and stuff like that. But that is definitely something that I'm really, really looking forward to because it's like something, it's another expansion, in my brand. And it's just, I don't know, it's just exciting for me. So I have that going on as well. So
nice.
I have a couple things, and then I have, of course, products and stuff like that I'm going to try to push out. And there's just, I feel like every time I come out with something, people are like, that's awesome, but like you should do this to it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool, I should. And then I'm like, what if I were to add a little bit of spice and I add a little bit of this? And they're like, oh my God, I love that. So it's just like no matter which way I turn, there's always growth and there's just growth and elevation everywhere I look. So I feel like right now, because I'm still thriving and I'm still in this stage of really building a stable brand, there's going to be growth for the next year or so, a year, 2 years. And I hope to keep growing. I don't want to stop growing.
No, you will. You definitely will. And I look forward to your success. I look forward to your growth within who you are and who are you destined to be, and shout out to all of you guys that are supporting her and her movement. It's a beautiful process, I appreciate you. I know she appreciates you guys.
I do. I love you all unconditionally.
Yes. And I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time, having this sit down with me.
I'm sitting with a legend, so I had to.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning in.
Absolutely.
Commenting, liking, just overall just showing the support. You will find all her information and the details below. Yes, in the description box, from her website to her social media handle. You will find all my information as well, from merch to social media handle, my website. And, you already know the vibes. It's your girl V-Henny, the Artistry. Thank you. Like, subscribe, and support. It's all free. You dig?
Absolutely.
We're out. Peace. The Artistry.
Catch us on YouTube, Facebook, or outlets.
Follow us, The Artistry NY.